Billis, and we are underway. Just underway here at Pauley Pavillion. #1 Kentucky against UCLA. The first time ever that Kentucky has played in this building. They met in Chicago last year, a blowout win for the Wildcats. The Cats are 7-0. The Bruins are 4-3. And Tyler Ulis, who missed the last game for Kentucky with a hyperextended elbow, is in the starting lineup tonight for the Wildcats as Isaiah Briscoe knocks down a 3 at the end of the shot clock.
Well, Kentucky knocked down a jump shot, but that's exactly what UCLA wanted. Steve Alford has told his team that they better be ready for a fight when they come into this game and protect the paint. The UCLA shoes better be all blue at the end of this game from packing that paint.
And it's a long 2 for Briscoe, so an early 2-0 lead for the Wildcats. Bryce Alford trying to run around a bunch of screens. Briscoe trailing him. Tony Parker down in the post. Kicks it to Thomas Welsh, who slams it home.
Late double team and a terrific play by Tony Parker, who averages over 12 rebounds per game. He's going to be a key performer for UCLA if they want to win this game.
Steve Alford playing the 2 bigs together. Parker at 6'9", and Welsh at about 7 feet, trying to play them together as much as he can. Briscoe steps into another long jumper, misses it wide left, and Marcus Lee of Kentucky is called for the foul.
Tony Parker is a very good back-to-the-basket low-post player. The double team comes a little bit late, and when Skal Labissiere goes up to try to block that shot, that opened it up for Thomas Welsh to get there.
And pressure on the ball here, 94 feet for Kentucky. Now they drop back.
With 2-2-1, three-quarter court pressure, dropping back into man-to-man.
Alford guarded by Briscoe. Ulis has Aaron Holiday on him right now, freshman guard.
He switched off. These 3 guards can all switch.
Welsh misses the jumper. Offensive rebound. Put back for Parker.
That's what Tony Parker does. He averages about 5 offensive rebounds per game. He leads the Pac-12 in rebounding at over 12.
Kentucky certainly got the height and the length up front with Lee and Labissiere, but they don't have anybody in the starting lineup with the bulk of Tony Parker. Murray the kick to Ulis. He'll miss the 3. Alford down with a rebound. An energetic start for UCLA.
Briscoe an excellent rebounder, and a good job by Bryce Alford to box him out. He can make this shot.
And he does. 6-2 Bruins.
What a difference from last year to this. It was 24-0 at the start of last year's game between Kentucky and UCLA.
And 41-7 at the half, the lowest scoring half in UCLA history. Briscoe baseline stepped out of bounds. UCLA ball.
Steve Alford has got to be very pleased with the way his team has started. And what an offensive rebound by Tony Parker with the nice putback off the glass. He is engaged in it. Tony Parker's really kind of a barometer for this team. If he plays well, UCLA generally plays well. It's been that way for the last year or so.
And John Calipari not liking what he's seeing. Briscoe's gone to the bench. Labissiere has gone to the bench. And checking in for Kentucky, Charles Matthews and Alex Poitras.
Poitras, an excellent individual defender. He's an explosive athlete coming off ACL surgery last year.
Alford with a 3. Got it! 9-2 UCLA.
Bryce Alford was 3 of his last 19 three-point shots, and he can make the contested ones. That was contested.
Jamal Murray with the answer at the other end. The freshman brings the Cats back within 4.
How about John Calipari at practice yesterday basically saying if Jamal Murray, and he said it to his team, if Jamal Murray is focused, he should get 30. And they're going to look to Murray, and they want him to try to go off in this game.
Hamilton. That's a 3. He left it short. Down with a rebound lead.
That was not a good shot by Isaac Hamilton, and it puts Kentucky in transition.
A Ulis turnover. A run out for the Bruins. Shovel pass. Hamilton left it short. And Lee another rebound. Nice outlet to Murray. The trailer is Matthews. Matthews working hard on the offensive glass. Now Lee flies in and lays it in for Kentucky.
Matthews has done a nice job to inject some energy into this lineup when he and Poitras came into the ballgame.
Marcus Lee coming off a double-double against Illinois State. 13 points, 12 rebounds. Welsh got a piece of it, and it's off Lee, out of bounds to UCLA when we come back. A very good start for UCLA, especially very early. They were up 9-2. Kentucky's got the last 5. Welsh knocks down the mid-range jumper, but then Marcus Lee and Kentucky getting to the rim, and Lee has brought the Cats back within 2 with the first media timeout.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by the Acura Oh What Fun It Is to Drive event and Dick's Sporting Goods. Every holiday season starts at Dick's.
And I'll send it along.
Commitment to the V Foundation and Jim Valvano's dream to defeat cancer. Welcome back to the beautiful campus of UCLA. We are inside Pauley Pavillion. And how do you know a game is big? Well, you know a game is big when Jerry West and Oscar Robertson are in the house. 2 of the basketball all-time royalty are here. A number of celebrities to watch this game. And us. Dan Shulman and Jay Billis.
What a letdown.
Rounding out the crowd. Very good start for UCLA, especially coming off the way last year's game started.
And that's what Steve Alford told his team. He said, be ready for a fight at 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. Good little promo there. But he wanted his team to pack the paint and turn Kentucky as best they could into a jump shooting team. Make them take jump shots, because 45% of Kentucky's points on this young season have come off layups or dunks.
Isaac Humphries, the 7-foot, 17-year-old from Sydney, Australia, into the game now for Kentucky guarding Welsh.
You know, Kentucky is taller and longer, especially with their starting lineup, but this UCLA team's got a little bit more bulk, especially with Tony Parker.
Pick and pop again with Welsh, but this time he can't knock it down. Ulis, the bounce pass behind the back to Murray, baseline loader off the side of the backboard. This is Aaron Holiday. Big brother Drew played here a few years back. He will turn it over, and back comes Ulis with a full head of steam.
Holiday's such a good athlete, but he put his head down, went right into the chest of Ulis, lost the ball.
Pull-up jumper in and out for Ulis, and Holiday back for the rebound.
UCLA has been gang rebounding. All 5 white shirts have been inside the paint going after defensive boards, and they've limited Kentucky to 1 shot, and that's something they're going to have to do for all 40 minutes if they want a chance to win, because this is an excellent offensive rebounding team Kentucky's got.
The drive by Holiday, and he'll lay it in to extend the lead to 4.
And Holiday, Hamilton, Ali, excellent drivers. When they put the ball on the floor, they have got quickness and that first step to get by a defender.
They lost a couple of good players from last year, Norman Powell, Kevon Looney, both in the NBA, but Steve Alford likes the depth and the versatility a little bit better this year, and he's got to like the first 6 minutes of this game a little bit better than last year.
Well, I think Steve Alford loves to see Alex Poitras pulling up for a jumper.
He also loves Holiday banking one in for 3. You could see the reaction on his face. He knows he got lucky.
Well, how much would Steve Alford have given to see that happen at last year's game at the start when they got behind 24-0?
Murray's hit one from out there and has hit another from the wing.
Well, he's the guy. I think that Jamal Murray has got to start getting even more assertive as a scorer. He's still trying to feel his way around out there. He's not really used to driving it every time he touches it.
A steal by Ulis and a great look ahead to Matthews.
Well, what a great play to steal that ball, to jump out in the passing lane and have the presence of mind to throw that ball deep to a teammate. Tyler Ulis is playing hurt in this one. That right arm, he's not able to straighten it out. He hyperextended it. You can see he's got a little bandage on it, but he can't really straighten it.
He did not play in the game against Illinois State a few days ago, as nobody knew the ball was loose on the deck. And Kentucky sputtered without Ulis in the lineup as Parker can't finish. Briscoe and Murray both turned the ball over a lot of the first half. They were tied with the Redbirds at halftime before pulling away in the second half. Ulis to Poitras, can't bank it in.
Well, Kentucky's got opportunities, but they have not looked in sync on the offensive end. UCLA packing it in is affecting them.
We are over 7 minutes into the game. Very few whistles, only 1 foul. Only 2 fouls as they go up and down here at Pauley Pavillion. Jay mentioned the injury to Tyler Ulis, just 5'9", but one of the best point guards in the country, one of the most important players on a championship contending team. And there you talked about it, cannot really straighten out that right arm.
Now, we saw it yesterday in practice. And John Calipari was taking him out of practice as often as possible. His shooting stroke looks okay, but he's not able to really extend like he'd like to.
Another UCLA turnover, 2-on-1 Kentucky. And Murray and Poitras can't connect on the lob.
Well, John Calipari wants his team to take it to the basket for a layup dunk, or if they don't have it, a lob. There's going to be very few bounce passes or straight line passes when you get in that kind of driving situation or full court situation.
Jonah Bolden has now checked into the game for UCLA, number 43, a 6'10 sophomore, also from Sydney, Australia, same as Isaac Humphries of Kentucky. That foul on Briscoe, his first and the team's third.
Even though Bolden's got great size, he's a perimeter player. So he hangs out by the three-point line. That means that he's going to pull a big guy away from the basket. Might be able to have some more driving opportunities, and UCLA may go to a little 3-2 zone with Bolden at the top.
Murray sits, so it's Ulis, Briscoe, and Matthews now on the perimeter for Kentucky. Parker with a jump hook. And the rebound down to Humphries. He won't turn 18 until January. He's 7 foot, 270 pounds, and with a pretty good touch mid-range as well.
He's got a lot of game, and he did a good job of staying big and being physical and staying between Tony Parker and the basket.
Ulis using the ball screen. Baseline jumper, Poitras not there.
Kentucky is playing right into UCLA's hands. They are taking these mid-range jump shots. And you want Jamal Murray to be pulling the trigger on some threes, but other than that, they've got to drive the ball and get into the paint and get to the rim. That's one of the reasons that UCLA has not been put in a position to foul, is because Kentucky's not been as aggressive as normal.
Alford with a quick release, knocks down the three.
Isaiah Briscoe was chasing Bryce Alford all over the place and just let up at the end, which is natural to do. You got to do some unnatural things to guard Bryce Alford. It's kind of like Trevor Cooney at Syracuse, the way he runs.
Alford on the season averaging better than 15 points per game. He's the leading scorer for UCLA. All 5 starters in double figures. Shot clock running down on the Wildcats. Matthews dumps it off. Humphries has to take the jumper, and Alford with another rebound. And a travel is the call. Briscoe claiming innocence. Alford said he was pushed. It'll be a travel on Alford, but Steve Alford, you can see he's clapping his hands, loving the energy he is getting from his team in the early going. First, it's the freshman, Aaron Holiday, banking in the three. Bryce Alford with the more conventional three, and the Bruins have the lead. Well, without question, these are two of college basketball's blue bloods, Kentucky and UCLA. UCLA's won more national championships than anybody. Kentucky is second. They have combined to play in 35 Final Fours. They've had a total of 45 first-team All-Americans and a total of 18 players enshrined in the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. And amazingly enough, the first time Kentucky's ever played here at UCLA. Before the game, Mike Warren, a great player in the 60s, won 2 national championships. Also, Officer Bobby Hill on Hill Street Blues, one of my all-time favorite shows back in the day. And his daughter-in-law is Jessica Alba. That's why she is here watching UCLA and Kentucky tonight.
It was a night full of stars, and Mike Warren was a great point guard for those great UCLA teams that were anchored by Lou Alcindor. That's Jamal Wilkes, formerly Keith Wilkes, played with Bill Walton in the early to mid-1970s.
And if you missed it, we showed a couple of other Hall of Famers. Jerry West and Oscar Robertson are down at the end of the court, sitting side by side, probably having a conversation on a level that very few other people could relate to. Two of the all-time greats.
You think Walton's watching the game?
I think Walton's watching the game. Briscoe, and they're going to count the bucket. They get a 3-point game. Credited to Briscoe.
I'm sure Walton's not on his bike.
I love
my bike. I love Maui. I love Pauley Pavillion, the great John Wooden.
He could be on his bike watching the game.
He might be.
Aaron Holiday at the point for UCLA, off to Alford. Alford's knocked down a couple of threes.
Now Alford going to run off some screens down low. Isolated on one side.
Briscoe trying to stay with him. This time Alford the drive and the kick. The save by Prince Ali. The shot clock at 6. Ali over Ulis with a tough baseline J.
He's a nice player and is going to be very good.
Freshman from the Bronx.
He's He's got strength and speed, and he's not afraid out there.
Humphries getting a lot of minutes for Kentucky, trying to deal with Tony Parker. And there's a three to bring Kentucky back within 2.
Now, Tyler Ulis just pulled up behind that little screen by Humphries. And Holiday went under and got burned as a result of it. But Steve Alford's willing to live with that. He just does not want to give up any paint.
Holiday, and an offensive foul is the call on Aaron Holiday. That'll be the first whistle on UCLA so far tonight. Skal Labissiere checking back into the game for Kentucky for Humphries. And Jay, we saw a couple of minutes ago, Marcus Lee went to the locker room for Kentucky, and it looked like he was holding a cloth or a bandage up on the left side of his face. We'll try to get word what the issue may be, but Lee is not in the game right now. Labissiere didn't do much the first few minutes and really didn't do much at all against Illinois State in Kentucky's last game. They'd like to see a little bit more assertiveness as he misses the turnaround jumper.
Well, it was a fadeaway turnaround jumper. And Labissiere is a really good and talented player, but he needs to take more than 2 shots that he took in their last ball game.
Wave off the basket, a foul on Labissiere before the dunk by Parker.
That was where Labissiere is longer, he's more athletic, but he's thin, and Tony Parker just bullied him when he caught that ball. Got the angle, went right into him, and got the foul.
And now Parker's going to sit down.
There's a screen for the screener.
Inside, Bolden lays it in, and a foul.
He's so worried about Bryce Alford setting that screen, then coming off another screen to get out to the wing for a shot. But oftentimes you can give up something underneath. He screened for Bolden, and then he was going to get a screen. That's that screen for the screener action. And all of a sudden, Bolden just got on the inside of Derek Willis and was able to essentially post him up. And that's why the guy that's guarding out of bounds underneath has got to shade toward the side of the basket. You don't care if the ball goes out to the rim. You care if it goes under the basket.
And John Calipari keeps making changes. He was unhappy with the defense on that inbounds play from Derek Willis. He took Willis out, and he brings Alex Poitras back in. 5-point lead UCLA past the midway point of the first half. Good ball pressure by the Bruins, now into the hands of Ulis.
UCLA's defense has been so engaged.
It's a tough jumper, and Ulis will knock it down. 5 now for Ulis.
Jonah Bolden switched off on Tyler Ulis, and he was trying to protect the basket, keep him from getting in there. But when he pulls up, he's more dangerous than when he gets all the way to the rim.
Bolden to Welsh. Still plenty of time for the Bruins. UCLA 4-3 on the season. Losses to Monmouth, Kansas, and Wake Forest. 2 of those losses out of Maui. As Alford will miss the 3. The best win for UCLA was a 2-point win in Maui over UNLV. Kentucky is 7-0. They've won every game by double figures. The closest game was an 11-point win over Duke. Nice touch by Labissiere, and Kentucky back within 1.
Dan, Labissiere is getting pushed underneath on the defensive end when he's trying to block out. And then on the offensive end, when he tries to post up, he's getting pushed out further on the floor. Now, he made a good shot there, but he should have been closer to the basket.
Prince Ali lost possession, got it back, and laid it in. Look at the speed on Ulis, but he'll miss the jumper. Now UCLA looking to push a little bit.
And Kentucky's got to get back and protect that 3-point line.
Isaac Hamilton, the youngest of a real basketball playing family, with 3 brothers playing collegiate basketball, including Daniel right now at UConn. John Calipari's got to be concerned. UCLA's playing well. UCLA is playing hard. Prince Ali, I got it, I lost it, I got it back. UCLA by 3. Tonight's game is part of ESPN's Journey to the Tourney, presented by Sonic, a season-long spotlight on the games that will impact the tournament. We got another great game coming for you Saturday afternoon. We're heading north to Spokane. 3:15 Eastern Time, 12:15 locally. Kyle Wilcher and the Zags taking on Arizona. And then right after that, the Jimmy B Women's Classic presented by Corona. Top-ranked UConn hosting number 3 Notre Dame at 5:15 Eastern Time. Both games will also be streaming live on Watch ESPN. What has been the key, Jay, so far for UCLA?
UCLA has really done a good job of closing down the lane, and they have limited this Kentucky team to 1 shot. Kentucky's only got 1 offensive rebound. And for UCLA's guards to get as many defensive rebounds as they've gotten, UCLA has been gang rebounding. It's not just been the big guys. The guards have done it as well.
The Bruins out rebounding the Wildcats overall 13-7. Both teams are shooting well. UCLA 53%, Kentucky reasonably well, 9 for 20, 45%. Labissiere with an impressive block. Dominique Hawkins all the way, can't finish. Murray with the offensive rebound, he'll pull it back out. Ulis wide open, misses the 3. Poitras with a rebound, and Welsh a rejection. What a sequence. Ali has it taken away. Loose ball though winds up in the hands of the Bruins. Well, that's a real catch your breath kind of 20 seconds right there.
UCLA's only allowed 6 points in the paint for Kentucky. That was the first time that Kentucky's been able to really get on the offensive glass.
Bolden misses the 3, and Poitras gets called for the push.
Poitras with 2 hands pushing Thomas Welsh out of the way. Just an obvious call because he was all by himself right under the basket. You got to give UCLA credit. They are sticking their noses in there to rebound, something that they haven't necessarily done all season long. UCLA has been the tougher team in the first part of this game.
And Tony Parker, one of the UCLA players, even Steve Alford,
off his back.
Wow.
He threw it right off the back of Tyler Ulis.
What a heavy play, and the lead grows to 5. So UCLA playing hard, UCLA playing smart, and leading the #1 ranked team in the nation by 5 here at Pauley Pavillion.
Now, does Isaac Hamilton get an assist for that?
That's a good question.
I mean, he had to pass the ball inbounds. It's clear he did that.
They surround Labissiere, and the held ball will give it back to the Bruins.
Tyler Ulis has his back to the inbounder here so that he can go out and go with Bryce Alford if he gets out to the wing. And a really alert play by Isaac Hamilton to throw it right off his back and be able to score that easily. That was a great play by Hamilton.
Hawkins staying with Holiday. John Calipari talked about the Illinois State game, said that Hawkins was the guy who changed the game. Ulis hurt. Briscoe and Murray really struggled in the first half. Hawkins played a lot of minutes for Kentucky and played well. Made 5 out of 6 free throws. Pulled down some rebounds as well, as Charles Matthews will come back in.
Hawkins is not going to score a lot of points, but he comes in and he's a really good individual defender. See, he's a little bit more alert. He's not putting his back to the inbounder. Have that happen to him.
Bolden into Welsh. Got a size advantage on Labissiere, but he couldn't finish.
Now Welsh is not a big body postman and doesn't really post up that much, and he really locked Labissiere down right in the post, and Labissiere couldn't get around him. That's one thing that Scal has got to work on. He has got to get stronger.
Murray, not this time on the 3. And Labissiere will get called for the foul, and that's going to put UCLA at the free throw line.
Well, Thomas Welsh has done a really nice job to start this game. He is such a good shooter. You watch him take those short corner jumpers, and it's really difficult.
So Jay Labissiere goes back to the bench with 2. We still haven't seen Marcus Lee in a while. He went to the locker room with an undisclosed injury, you would imagine, quite some time ago. We are trying to get an update from the Kentucky Sports Information Department. So Lee's in the locker room. Labissiere's got 2. Humphreys is back into the game. And Welsh hits the front end. Welsh, as you mentioned, a much improved player over a year ago. How about 20 points and 8 rebounds in the win over UNLV out in Maui?
He shoots such a good percentage. He's not the type of player that gets to the free throw line often. This is the 9th and 10th free throws of the year, I believe.
Made them both, now 8 for 10 on the season. Poitras back in for Hawkins.
Jamal Murray has got to get more engaged offensively for Kentucky. He is such a threat. Being guarded by Isaac Hamilton here.
Welsh knocks it away. Humphreys corrals it. Murray shovel pass. Matthews in the corner misses the 3. Easy rebound Hamilton.
Why Kentucky is settling for jump shots, I don't know.
Hamilton pulls up at the free throw line and knocks it down. It's an 8-0 run for UCLA, and it's a timeout, Kentucky. This place is rocking right now. Bruins by 9.
UCLA has protected its paint. Kentucky has been taking mostly jump shots. When Charles Matthews missed that, a little drag screen in transition by Thomas Welsh, and Isaac Hamilton freed up to take that little free throw line jumper. And Isaac Humphries, the big Aussie for Kentucky, was backpedaling, couldn't stop on a dime and get out to put a hand up. And UCLA's game plan has worked perfectly. Only 6 Kentucky points in the paint. A team that scores 45% of its points off layups and dunks.
And it seems like at almost every whistle, John Calipari's unhappy with somebody, and he's pulling somebody out of the game. Ulis too strong on the jumper. Humphries with a rebound, but had it knocked away.
And now Tony Parker comes back into this game after having gotten some real rest. So he can be aggressive in looking for the ball.
The Wildcats have missed their last 6 shots. Parker trying to, there's a block called on Ulis. Parker really banging down low with Poitras, asking for the ball. We started to say a little bit earlier, both Parker and Steve Alford, head coach of UCLA, talked about a lack of toughness. Their team needs to play tougher if they're going to be a better team. Parker made the initial comment, and Alford said, you know what, he's right. They do need to be tougher. First foul on Ulis. Holiday at the free throw line. One of the great shooters in recent basketball history, Steve Alford, in his 3rd year as the head coach of the Bruins. Back-to-back Sweet 16s. But still, Jay, the perception that the program needs to get to another level, needs to get closer to where it used to be. Coach Alford feels they're headed in the right direction, loves the recruiting class coming in next year. Ranked number 4 by ESPN.com, and giving Kentucky all they can handle here tonight.
Well, when Steve Alford was at Indiana, nobody ever said on a scouting report, make him take jump shots. But what he's saying to his team is make Kentucky take jump shots.
Ulis gets inside. Beautiful feed to a cutting Poitras.
One of the few times that UCLA has given up the paint. They gave up a drive. You have to help. And then the beautiful drop off to Alex Poitras for the layup. That's only the 8th point in the paint that Kentucky's had in this first half, and that's primarily the reason UCLA's got the lead.
Holiday swings it back to Welsh. Pick and pop again, and he knocks down the 15-footer.
That's his game. He is a 15 to 17-foot jump shooter, and he can really stretch a defense, make a big guy come out on the floor.
Murray gets inside, kicks it out. Ulis thought about the 3.
A really nice job by Bryce Alford to keep his feet.
Briscoe the drive, switches hands and lays it in.
Briscoe can play one-on-one with any guard in the country, and it's so hard to stay in front of these 3 Kentucky guards. You really have to give them space, because if you're, that was a moving screen, and maybe Isaiah Briscoe put a little bit into that, but he did the right thing to get that call. Tyler Ulis trying to get the ball into the paint, and Isaac Hamilton got caught reaching instead of moving his feet, and he paid for it with that nice play by Alex Poitras. And then Thomas Welsh has played a terrific game. He can knock down shots when he's open.
What is that?
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires for game-changing traction inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Had a chance yesterday to walk around the UCLA campus yesterday with one of the great athletes of the Billis family, and Jay was there too. Sorry, that's your joke, and I stole it. But your sister Cheryl was a big-time volleyball player here at UCLA.
She played here in the mid-'80s for Andy Banikowski. Great volleyball program. UCLA's had great tradition in just about every sport. One of our 100 national championships across the board.
Meanwhile, the word from the Kentucky Sports Information Department is that Marcus Lee has suffered a head injury and will not return. That's all the information we've been given, all we can pass along right now. Hopefully nothing too serious, but a big loss, Jay, for Kentucky.
It is a huge loss because he's an outstanding defensive rebounder and defensive player. And he's a junior with a ton of experience. So now they're replacing that experience with youth.
In and out for Murray. Battle for the rebound, and a held ball is the call. The arrow will keep it with Kentucky.
Alex Poitras is the guy you really have to be concerned with on the offensive glass. And UCLA's guards, I know I've said this already, but their guards have done a very good job on the defensive glass.
A steal by Bolden. Well, Kentucky turning it over. Kentucky hasn't been to the free throw line once tonight. Another offshoot maybe of them just settling for a lot of jump shots. And UCLA is playing a determined brand of basketball here in the first half. Alford gets inside, swatted away. UCLA ball with 12 on the shot clock.
Bryce Alford, he must run 20 miles in the course of a basketball game. He is always moving.
And now Briscoe given the task of trying to guard him. Ulis is on Hamilton. Hamilton with a big height advantage, and there's a foul on Ulis. That'll be his second, and it'll send Hamilton back to the free throw line for the 1-and-1. 9th team foul on Kentucky.
Ulis just got his arm around Isaac Hamilton, who is 6'5". Boy, does he come from a basketball family. His brother Daniel Hamilton is a star wing at UConn and one of the triple-double threats in the country this year.
Jordan played at Texas, spent a little time in the NBA. Oldest brother Gary played at the University of Miami.
Isaac, the McDonald's All-American, he first committed to UTEP and Tim Floyd and signed a letter of intent. And when he moved to transfer, they wouldn't let him out of it. And so wound up here at UCLA, had to sit out. And he's a fine player that I think is getting better and better.
1 of 2 and a 10-point lead for the Bruins with 2 minutes left in the first half.
UCLA is completely inside the three-point line and inside the paint. Look how they're packing that in there. They're just basically giving Kentucky jump shots.
Poitras the handoff to Murray, hit a couple of threes early in the game. Murray trying to get around Parker. 2 on the shot clock. Briscoe the force. And a foul as a lot of players were battling for the rebound there, and it is going to go against, everybody's looking, it's going to go against UCLA. It'll be on Jonah Bolden.
I'm surprised at that. That was just rebounding. Charles Matthews did a great job going after that rebound, went up for it with 2 hands, but that looked just like a bunch of guys rebounding rather than fouling.
Just the third foul, 13th foul on UCLA. Briscoe the kick. Murray from the wing, not there on the 3. Offensive rebound, Poitras. Humphreys will lay it in to get the deficit down to 8.
Well, we had talked about Alex Poitras being the most dangerous Wildcat as an offensive rebounder. He's so strong and explosive athletically.
Alford lost his footing but kept control of the basketball.
Bryce Alford hardly ever turns the ball over. He averages over 5 assists. Barely a turnover per game.
Keeps the dribble alive, finds Bolden. Great shot fake. And then into some traffic. And it'll stay with the Bruins with 5 on the shot clock.
Well, very, very fortunate for Jonah Bolden there. He's a very good shooter. But he drove in there with nothing to do and left the floor with nothing to do.
Bolden, a partial qualifier last year, did not play for UCLA, only practiced after January. So he's still shaking some of the rust off, and he just shook some more off right there. UCLA is winning a lot of the 50-50 battles, winning the battle on the glass, and winning the battle on the scoreboard.
And Kentucky right now looks young, and they look a little bit confused.
And Murray will draw the foul on Bolden.
Anytime that you go up to block a shot, that is going to open up the offensive glass. And there was really no reason for Jamal Murray to try to just jump straight up there because he opened up the offensive glass for Jonah Bolden. You know, if you're going to get in there and make a play, that's fine. But just jumping up to wave your arms around, all it did was open up the offensive glass for an easy putback.
Shot clock turned off. And Briscoe will get inside and draw the foul. He'll head to the free throw line. These will be the first free throws of the night coming up for the Wildcats.
Boy, in UCLA, their game plan has worked absolutely perfectly. Pack the paint, make Kentucky take jump shots. And they packed the paint and kept Kentucky out of it without fouling. And that is not easy to do because these guards are ultra quick and excellent off the dribble.
Briscoe makes the first. Just a 39% free throw shooter on the season coming into this game tonight.
And this first half, Dan, shows you what UCLA can be and can do. I mean, this is not the same team that lost to Monmouth, that lost to Wake Forest. They are playing at a very high level and sticking to a very good game plan. They have executed that game plan extraordinarily well.
A shout out to Monmouth, who have beaten Notre Dame and USC as well.
Well, you stay in front of Justin Robertson. That's tough to do.
NBA Friday presented by State Farm on ESPN. Tomorrow night it'll be the Nets and the Knicks at 7 Eastern time, followed by LeBron James and the Cavs, Anthony Davis and the Pelicans, both games streaming live on Watch ESPN. If you're a fan of Kentucky, UCLA, you'll see a number of their former players in the doubleheader tomorrow night. Former Bruins Aaron Aflalo and Kevin Love, and former Wildcats Anthony Davis. Also another former Bruin, Drew Holiday, who we mentioned is the big brother of Aaron Holiday, the freshman guard right now for the Bruins. Drew spent a year here, 2008-9, before he was a first-round pick into the NBA. Now UCLA can hold for the final possession of the half.
I think you want to look for Bryce Alford here. There are a number of guys that can make a play. You got Thomas Welsh that can play a little pick and pop. He's being guarded by Derek Willis, but I'd want Alford to have the ball.
Alford guarded by Hawkins. Now he's got the ball. A touch for Welsh. Back into Alford. Switches hands. Misses the layup. Poitras has it. As the first half comes to a close here in Westwood. They were down 41-7 at halftime to Kentucky last year. A lot of different faces, granted, on both teams. But boy, Steve Alford's got to feel good about the first 20 minutes that his team played here in this game tonight. A lead for the Bruins at the break. The Jeep halftime report is coming up next with Kevin Connors and Carol Lawson.
All right, Dan, thanks so much.
Up much better in the first half. UCLA leading by 8. Tonight's game is part of ESPN's Journey to the Tourney, presented by Sonic, a season-long spotlight of the games that will impact the tournament. As we go to the second half, the Bruins lead the #1 ranked team in the nation, the Kentucky Wildcats, 37-29. A look at our Sonic showdown. And in the first half, UCLA shooting 50%, and they kept Kentucky from getting to the rim. They kept Kentucky out of the paint. They dared them to make some jump shots, and Kentucky just shooting 37% of the 50% shot by UCLA. Also, Marcus Lee has left the game with an undisclosed injury, played just a few minutes and will not return. Dan Schulman and Jay Billis. A great first half for the UCLA Bruins. What was the key to their success?
Well, they turned Kentucky into a jump shooting team. They didn't allow a very good offensive rebounding team to get second shots, and they kept Kentucky off the free throw line. I mean, as simple as it sounds, Kentucky's going to have to start making some jump shots. They don't have to be three-pointers. They can be 17, 18-foot jump shots, 15-foot jumpers. But UCLA right now, they've got both feet in the paint. They haven't guarded anywhere near the three-point line or outside of it. And then Kentucky's going to have to get much tougher on the defensive end. You mentioned they allowed UCLA to shoot 50% in that first half. And Kentucky's going to have to find a way to generate some offense from its defense, because this is not a team that's got a back to the basket low post player. They can throw it down and get a bucket. They spread the floor and they like to drive it. Right now the floor can't be spread because they're not stretching the defense. They can spread it as much as they want, but the defense is not stretching. It's inside the lane.
And again, Marcus Lee done for the night with an injury. Scal Labissiere started the game, had just 2 points and 1 rebound in 7 minutes. He does not start the second half. Isaac Humphries and Alex Poitras are both starting the second half for Kentucky.
And Poitras, the outstanding offensive rebounder.
Alford shut off there by Briscoe.
We got to look inside some to Tony Parker. He's got to get active to try to get the ball.
Alford misses the 3. Long rebound down to Ulis. Ulis had 6 assists, just 1 turnover in the first half.
I think the guy that can really open this up is Jamal Murray. He's got to look to shoot the ball.
Alford bounce pass. Parker strong to the rim. Counted and a foul.
Just a little drag screen in transition. And then the nice pocket pass from Bryce Alford, who is leading the Pac-12 in assists. Just dumps it right down. There wasn't even much of a screen. It was a move toward a screen and a little exchange. And Tony Parker made the nice catch finish and got the three-point play.
You know, it's funny looking at the first half stats. Parker had 2 points and 3 rebounds. It felt like he did a lot more than that in the first half, but he asserts himself here early in the second half. Poitras is trying to answer and was fouled by one of the UCLA bigs. It will be Parker.
Well, they answered with the same type of action. A little pocket pass there by Tyler Ulis to Alex Poitras, and it doesn't look like there's any lingering effects from that ACL injury that Alex Poitras suffered last year. He looks as athletic and explosive as ever, and I guess when you get your teeth caught in the net, that's pretty good evidence that you're feeling better.
Like you never went through that.
I never got my hand caught in the net. That was, I couldn't believe it when I saw the film of that afterwards, because I didn't notice it when it happened live action. My mind doesn't allow me to contemplate that somebody could get their front teeth caught in the net. What a phenomenal athlete.
ACL surgery last December. And Poitras, a guy that John Calipari has constantly challenged to go out and just make plays, be an athlete, try to take over a game. Hamilton dumps it down. Welsh lays it in. Somehow Humphries wound up on the seat of his pants on the other side of the key, and it was an easy basket for Welsh.
I don't know how he wound up on his backside, because he's bigger, bulkier, and stronger than Welsh. But Welsh has had an outstanding game. This is as well as he's played all season long.
Murray surrounded inside and called for the travel.
He got fouled. He had there was I think it was Hamilton had both arms wrapped around him. Watch Hamilton here. He's got both arms around him. That's a foul. That's ridiculous to miss that.
UCLA with the ball and an 11-point lead. Have not beaten a #1 since 2003. Parker inside, and he is fouled.
Parker is a load down in that low post, and when he gets low and does that little crab dribble, you're not going to be able to move him off that spot.
Third on Poitras. Remember, they're thin up front with the loss of lead. Alford off the inbounds play. Tough shot. Welsh working hard. And he is fouled. Another Kentucky foul.
So Scal Labissiere cannot block out. And he's got to be able to move Welsh back there.
That's 4J on Poitras. So Lee out with an injury. Poitras has 4. Humphries back into the game.
And now Kentucky extraordinarily young up front.
Welsh over Labissiere. Nice high-low between the big guys, and they are fired up here at Pauley Pavillion. Parker is playing with a ton of energy tonight.
Well, Parker and also Welsh.
Yep. Briscoe baseline for the lay-in.
That was an elbow set run by Kentucky. And if you can get Briscoe on the move, that was one of the first times they've been able to spread UCLA out.
Briscoe into double figures now with 10.
Briscoe trying to get physical with Alford.
And Alford draws the foul on Briscoe. Those are two pretty tough guys. Neither one of them minds a little bit of contact.
Well, the referees could have called a couple of different fouls there. They could have called an offensive foul. They could have called one on the defense. Labissiere just got caught on the high side, and as he gets stronger, he's going to get better and better. But I think it's become pretty clear that that's job #1 for Scal, is to get stronger. That lower base, he's got to be able to hold position and play lower. He plays too straight up and down.
Parker the handoff to Holiday. Trailed by Ulis, got by him, around and out, and Humphries wraps up the rebound.
Good rebound by Humphries.
Well, maybe it'll have to be Ulis to try to take over the game for Kentucky. They are scuffling right now.
Look how it's packed in there. Somebody's got to make a jump shot.
Briscoe can drive with the best of them.
And that was just a playground, put your head down, and the better athlete won. How tough was that drive?
A dozen now for Briscoe. Holiday, Ulis got a hand on it. Murray comes up with a loose ball.
Really good recovery by Tyler Ulis.
Murray gets inside, can't finish, and Welsh down with a two-handed rebound.
That's a play that Jamal Murray's got to finish.
Wide open. Aaron Holiday for three. That shot right there by John Calipari, that pretty much says it all. How he's feeling about the way tonight is going for the Cats.
Well, Murray missed that shot that he should have made. Then he was slow getting back.
And a foul there on Hamilton to prevent what surely would have been a dunk by Labissiere.
UCLA has punched first, and they've continued to punch. That's just way too easy in transition, and a great job by Holiday to run the floor and set his feet. I'll tell you get open, Bryce Alford's going to find it. He is an excellent passer.
Murray out, Matthews in. Alford's a guy with kind of a volume shooter reputation, and some of it deservedly so. But last year, over 4.5 assists per game. He talked about this year leading the Pac-12. His game is evolving, and he might have a little more help around him. It means he doesn't have to shoot as much.
Yeah, I think they're getting better. The guys around him, the weapons. And right now, he and Briscoe are really going at it. I think Briscoe's got to be careful not to pick up a cheap one here, because Alford's good at drawing fouls.
And Alford just gets called for the foul. Got a little arm bar on the offensive end there. It'll be Kentucky ball when we come back. UCLA leading by 10.
Is brought to you by Adidas. Creators never follow.
USC, Stanford, Saturday at 7.
Welcome back to Pauley Pavillion. Dan Shulman and Jay Billis. UCLA trying to knock off #1, and they are leading 47-37 right now. 4 minutes and change into the second half. News today about Syracuse and about Jim Boeheim. The suspension was upheld, but instead of it being a 9-game ACC suspension, basically the appeals committee said that the NCAA was, I believe, abuse of privilege was the phrase that I saw.
Abusive discretion.
Abusive discretion. Thank you. Abusive discretion, saying that because Boeheim was not directly involved in any of the allegations, that the NCAA should not have suspended him for the first 9 games of conference play if there was going to be a suspension, which there is. That the appeals committee said it should have been the first 9 games of the season. Now it's too late to do that right now because it's already December. Your thoughts on the news that came out today?
You know, horribly mishandled by the NCAA. Not surprisingly, given how flawed the process is. But you knew with an abusive discretion standard that the 9-game suspension was not going to be overturned in any way, shape, or form. But the idea that you had the suspension starting with ACC games when Larry Brown's suspension started at the beginning of the year was ridiculous. And that's something they could have handled on an administrative basis right away. And they chose not to. They waited till 7 games into the season. If they had done it when they should have done it. This appeal was taken in March. Taken in March. If they would have done it when they should have and just made that decision quickly, and then they could have taken their time on everything else, then Boeheim's suspension would have been over next week. And it's a huge failing on the part of the NCAA, but it's a flawed process to begin with.
So basically effective immediately or before Syracuse's next game. Jim Boeheim cannot coach, cannot even have any contact with his players or assistant coaches. He will return on January the 9th for a game against North Carolina, a Saturday game at the Carrier Dome. One of the things I know that concerns Boeheim is, you know, now it's so sudden they haven't had a lot of time to prepare for it starting now because the change today just changed the timeline for Syracuse.
Yeah, it's really odd, and then it's also odd that you're suspended for 9 games, but that means you can't talk to anybody associated with the program. In fact, Syracuse doesn't even know, as of this morning, they didn't know whether Jim Boeheim's allowed to communicate with his athletic director. And that's a really bad rule and a bad interpretation. And I hope they change that. I'm not optimistic they'll do the right thing.
Hawkins down to Labissiere, who just picked up his 3rd foul at the other end of the floor. Remember, Poitras is on the with 4. Briscoe with the shot clock running down, misses it. Hawkins on the offensive glass.
Well, there was no blockout responsibility. Nobody laid a body on Dominique Hawkins. And one of the few second chance opportunities Kentucky's been able to generate. And you wonder, Isaiah Briscoe has been pretty much the whole offense for Kentucky in the second half, and he's done a magnificent job on the defensive end as well.
Hamilton, no. The save, and Alford tips it in to Welsh. Alford off balance, but he's got a lot of different shots in his bag, and he knocks that one down to make it 12.
Well, he looked like he was about to turn it over. and then had the presence of mind to shoot that ball. And you wonder if John Calipari is going to go maybe with Derek Willis or something to get some shooting out there.
Ulis, no. Strong rebound by Holiday. Holiday shovel pass. Parker fouls.
And UCLA really running in transition, and they have had Kentucky back on their heels. Bryce Alford, after making that second over the head save, just went right for the handoff and went right at Labissiere, lost the ball. That was like a horse game, horse shot.
Parker, the senior from Atlanta, averaging better than 14 points and a Pac-12 leading 12 rebounds per game so far this year. Big ovation for Welsh as he gets a breather. Golden back into the game.
Welsh has played very well. And those 12 rebounds you're talking about with Parker, 5 of those on average are on the offensive end. He gets a lot of second chance opportunities.
He's a big body at 6'9", 260. Defending Labissiere, tips it away from Labissiere. And it'll be a held ball. It'll stay with Kentucky as Hamilton and Labissiere both diving for it.
You know, it's hard for younger players to understand this, but anytime you put the ball on the floor in the lane and you try to spin, it is really difficult to pull those off in traffic. Good defenders are going to take the ball away from you.
Murray back in for Hawkins. Seems like every single whistle John Calipari is making a sub, just trying to find a combination that might click.
Well, he doesn't have a whole lot of options with Alex Poythress on the bench. He'd like to have Poythress back in there, but he's got 4 fouls.
Briscoe is fouled.
Well, that's the one thing UCLA doesn't want to do, is put Kentucky at the free throw line. And Briscoe has been really good in the second half. He's been one of the true bright spots for Kentucky when they have been searching.
It's the second foul on Parker. Steve Alford saying, stay down, stay down.
Yeah, make him shoot a. He's basically been saying for the last 3 or 4 days, make him take jump shots.
And now rebound, he says, is Derek Willis. Block out and rebound. Derek Willis is back into the game.
Now Willis is a guy that can knock down a perimeter shot, and he is unafraid to pull the trigger from 20 feet. He could wind up loosening up this UCLA defense if he can knock a couple down.
Briscoe missed them both.
Yeah, I think you go into Tony Parker, let him touch it. Go one-on-one in the post with Humphries.
Alford on the wing. Ulis on him. Parker the handoff. Inside 10. Back into Parker. Got it! Tough shot for Tony Parker.
Alford just went 2-man game with Parker. And that big body is tough to contain.
Briscoe driving again and fouled again.
See, Isaac Humphries just given a little bit too much help there and couldn't really recover. Just trying to wall off, and a little bit late was Jamal Murray getting over there. He came over to get in position instead of to really stop the play. And Parker just too strong.
At the other end, though, another foul on Parker. That's his third. Welsh has come to the scorer's table. So Parker, he's pleading his case with one of the officials to no avail. He doesn't want to come out of this game, but he knows he is right now. Also coming back in, Prince Ali, as Alford gets a breather.
Well, Isaiah Briscoe is not a great free throw shooter, so you have to block out here. But that's one area. With as good as he is off the dribble and as strong and as tough as he is, well, he needs to knock free throws down because he's going to score a lot of points at the line.
Well, Humphries just got knocked down again. I don't know if he tripped, but it's a 13-point lead for 4-3 UCLA as they lead 7-0 and top-ranked Kentucky. The first time ever that Kentucky has played at Pauley Pavillion. Kentucky leads the all-time series 7-4. 8 of the meetings have been on neutral courts. The last 8. UCLA's never been to Rupp either. They're going there next December. Hamilton, no. Down with a rebound, Willis.
Well, Hamilton needed to go stronger there. He came off that little screen in the slot and had an open lane to the basket.
Welsh didn't even have to leave his feet to block that shot. Holiday back out to Welsh. Got another one. 16 for Thomas Welsh.
What an outstanding shooter. He never brought that ball down, not even a dip. Some of the great shooters will take a little dip with the ball before they shoot it. He never even did that.
And the lead is up to 15. Eulis stops on a dime, misses the shot. Willis with a follow and a chance for three.
Thomas Welsh with the foul, giving up an offensive rebound and a foul. And look at Thomas Welsh, a little pick and pop. Talk about being ready to shoot. Never brought it down, got it off quickly, and it was nothing but net.
Research on ESPN. I would like to ask you to help us beat cancer. Log on to jimmyv.org or call 1-800-4-JIMMY-V to donate. All donations benefit the V Foundation for Cancer Research. It culminates with the Jimmy V, the men's doubleheader at Madison Square Garden on Tuesday. Virginia taking on West Virginia. Maryland and Connecticut should be a great game. And don't forget about the women's Jimmy V. Notre Dame at UConn, number 3 and number 1. Saturday, 5:15 Eastern time right here on ESPN.
And you know that every dollar that you donate goes to cancer research. None of it's used for the foundation's expenses. It's all right to the cause.
Still UCLA ball, 15 to shoot, 56-44 Bruins. Van Schulman, Jay Billis, number 1, getting a battle tonight. Well, here comes Bryce Alford back into the game. Another one of these guys who just hardly ever comes out. Every time he comes out, it's usually within a minute of a media timeout, and then he comes in at the next whistle. He's a 36, 37 minute a night kind of guy.
And never seems to get tired. Yeah. Just runs all day.
I'd like to see Bryce Alford and Trevor Cooney get in a who gets tired first contest. See if either one of them ever does.
A 2-3 zone now by Kentucky, and they're going to have to get into this on the defensive end. And you got Alford going right into the middle with a little push shot.
Double figures now for Alford.
Now, everything's been a little bit too easy for UCLA. And we can talk about how Kentucky hasn't been able to knock shots down, but they haven't been able to stop UCLA either.
Willis left it short, and it'll be Kentucky ball.
It's amazing how when you struggle offensively, especially with young teams, how that can affect your defense.
Here comes Labissiere. If you were with us before, bear with us, but Marcus Lee out of the game, injured, will not return. Poitras got 4 fouls. They need something up front. The last couple of games have not been banner games for Skal Labissiere. What do you see from the freshman?
Well, he's feeling his way around. He's not sure exactly where he fits in out there and where he can score. And he's getting pushed around. That's one of the, he's getting pushed around a little bit by Thomas Welsh, who is not the type of guy, the body build that should be pushing him around.
Labissiere with a left hand showing some of his skill.
He is a very skilled player, and he's got great hands and a great touch. I mean, that was a left-handed hook there.
58-46.
Back to man-to-man.
Ali fouled on the perimeter by Briscoe. That'll be the 3rd on Briscoe. And it's already the bonus for UCLA. So Ali will head to the line. A 6'3" freshman, as we mentioned, from the Bronx. 4 very talented players coming in. You expect, of course, Kentucky to have a great recruiting class, and they've got the #1 ranked class coming in for next year. But Pauley and the gang at ESPN Recruiting, they've got UCLA at number 4 right now. And I think what pleases Steve Alford the most is that all 4 kids there are from Southern California. They want to keep the best players from Southern California here at UCLA.
Well, if you recruit LA down to San Diego, well, you're going to have good teams because there's a lot of talent in that area and in this state. Pass ahead.
Ali. Finger roll, and Eulis will get called for the foul. Free throws coming for Ali.
And talking about that recruiting class, it's led by Lorenzo Ball, who's a 6'5" point guard from Chino. And Paul Biancardi calls him the best passer in his high school class. He's long-armed. He's got great vision. Also, T.J. Leaf out of El Cajon, who committed at first to Arizona and then decommitted and wound up committing to Steve Alford. UCLA is a really skilled Big guy. He's good off the bounce, good with the ball. UCLA did very well in recruiting.
There aren't many programs where you could go Sweet 16 the last couple of years and people feel there needs to be more. But UCLA, you know, Kentucky, Kansas, Duke, Carolina, all those programs are like that. But the recruiting, Steve Alford feels very good about it. As you mentioned, they've also broken ground on a new practice facility that will be ready in a couple of years. And that may sound like kind of a throwaway line, but Jay, you know, you go around to every major program in the country. That's an important thing in order to entice recruits.
Well, yeah, you want to give them a good environment. You can't give them any money, so you have to give them the best possible environment. And, you know, some of these practice facilities are Taj Mahal caliber. And when you come into a facility like Pauley Pavillion, and it's been upgraded, but you go around the country and see some of these different practice facilities, they are absolutely magnificent.
Both teams over the limit, and we're not at the midway point of the second half, so there will be a lot of free throws the rest of the way. Humphries, as we mentioned, just 17 years of age and a soft touch.
Well, he's got every shot that you need to play his position. He can play with his back to the basket. He can make a face-up jumper. He can play pick and pop. And he's not afraid to throw his body around. The idea that he's just 17 years old and he's not going to turn 18 till what, January? Yeah. I said that like I was going to buy him a birthday present or something. It's amazing how young he is.
Yeah. And he's getting a larger and larger role, especially tonight with some of the other issues the Wildcats are facing. Ali! That one brought the house down.
It almost brought the stanchion down. When you take the ball to the basket like that, your name is no longer going to be Prince. It's going to be King. That was phenomenal.
It also fouled Alex Poitras out of the game. Did it go in? It went in.
It went in, all right.
Look at it. A bit of a delayed reaction from Prince Ali. A, I'm not hurt. And B, I just dunked it over a 6'9" guy.
What a big-time play by Prince Ali.
And this place has often been characterized as not the most intimidating place for a visiting team to come in and play. They don't always get the biggest crowds. They've got a big crowd tonight. They've certainly got a lively student section tonight. And the way the Bruins are playing is only ratcheting up the atmosphere here at Pauley Pavillion.
Well, there is a long way to go in this game. But this is, for UCLA, a program-elevating game. You bring the #1 team in the country into your building and play at this high a level in front of the biggest crowd you've had in this building in a while. That's got real meaning.
So Willis and Humphries now in the front court for Kentucky after Poitras fouls out and Briscoe gets to the baseline again.
How much game does he have? I mean, on a night where his team has struggled and very few players have stepped forward, Isaiah Briscoe stepped forward on both ends. And he is all over Bryce Alford.
Parker with deep position got Willis in the air and drew the foul.
Tony Parker, with his size and ability level, I think can really go to work down low. He had a much thinner, even though he's tall and long, Derek Willis on him. And the bulk and strength of Tony Parker down in the low post is going to win that battle most of the time.
Here comes Hamilton back into the game. Holiday will sit down for UCLA. Bruins have an interesting schedule coming up. They've got Gonzaga at Gonzaga next Saturday on ESPN2. Then they're playing North Carolina in Brooklyn the weekend after that. So some tough tests here in December for the Bruins, but so far they have answered this one beautifully. Ulis tried and succeeded in drawing the foul. Missed the shot, and did he aggravate that hyperextended elbow? He is grimacing as he stands up.
Well, UCLA getting a little bit spread out on the defensive end, allowing some driving lanes, and Kentucky doing a better job. That was a beautiful little crossover. And oh boy, that had to hurt.
Ulis suffered the injury 2 games ago against South Florida. Didn't play in the second half of that game. Didn't play at all against Illinois State a few days ago. And now playing through the discomfort here tonight. His team needs everything that he can give him right now.
He had some sort of brace on it yesterday in practice. A blue sleeve with a brace on it, and clearly he didn't like it.
Well, even tonight in the first half, he had a pad on it, and he's taken that off.
Yeah, he's taken that off, and he's a tough kid. I mean, he's playing right through the pain because his team needs him out there.
A steal by Willis, and it's a 10-point game.
Oh, what a play by Derek Willis. This gives a little bit of a different energy.
Briscoe very unhappy with that foul call. That's going to be the 4th on Isaiah Briscoe.
Derek Willis impacting the game on the defensive end, and he can help stretch the defense by knocking down a perimeter shot. Boy, what a big play there to get a foul 80 feet from the basket on Isaiah Briscoe to pick up number 4.
So Lee injured. Poitras is fouled out. Briscoe's about to come out, it appears, after picking up his 4th.
And Ulis playing with one arm. But there goes a healthy bit of Kentucky's second half offense. And Isaiah Briscoe has been the offense in the second half.
Getting an earful right now from his coach.
Well, he's basically telling you, look, you can get a basket back. You cannot get a foul back. It's like a little zone now by UCLA. Or they're just packing it.
Murray from the elbow left it short. Loose ball comes down to Ali.
Now, Ali tried to dribble it out of there. You've got to get control of it first and then go.
Alford. Hamilton with a crossover. Jump stop, too strong off the glass. Parker over the top. Called for the foul. That will be the 4th on Tony Parker. This is a foul call we're seeing more of this year, and it's one you've talked about in the games we've done, where it looks like a lot of guys are going straight up and down, but they're still getting called for going over the back.
Yeah, I mean, you can go over the top of somebody. You just can't climb their back. And Parker looked like when he first got the rebound, he got it clean, but then when he came down right on top of Isaac Humphries.
So Parker sits, Bolden returns, Humphries at the line.
If Kentucky can get a couple of stops here and really get it down to 6 points or so, that will really put a lot of pressure on UCLA. And then we see how the Bruins respond.
1 of 2, and Welsh the rebound.
Right now, when you've got a lead toward the latter part of the second half, when you talk about being tough on defense, you got to be tough on offense.
A turnover by Alford. Ulis with a bounce pass. Willis with a left-handed scoop. Can't get it to go. Kentucky gets it back. Hawkins for 3. And it'll be UCLA ball when we come back. Well, there have been a lot of good plays by UCLA tonight. They have earned this 10-point win. None of them as memorable. None of them as breathtaking as that drive and finish by Prince Ali.
What is that?
And the Pac-12 championship game presented by Dr. Pepper, number 20 USC, number 7 Stanford. The Cardinals still holding out hope for a spot on the college football playoff with a win and some help. Coverage starts at 7:45 Eastern time. Also streaming live on Watch ESPN.
Kentucky just had a wonderful opportunity to score in transition, get fouled or both. Tyler Ulis gives it off to Derek Willis here, who had an angle to the basket, but instead of going straight up and getting fouled by Jonah Bolden or just completing that play, he goes to the other side and tries to make a circus shot. And John Calipari, I'm sure, was wearing him out after that, talking about take it in there, get fouled. Yeah, that was a terrific opportunity. And Kentucky's not gotten that many opportunities at the rim. They're 6 of 28 outside of the paint. So they're taking jump shots. They're 6 of 28.
And that was the game plan for UCLA. Force them to make jump shots. See if they could make enough jump shots to win the game. Alford off to Welsh, who's had a big night tonight for the Bruins. Shot clock is now down to 5. Alford with a drive, and it will roll off the rim, but down to Bolden.
Every blue shirt was headed the other way.
And Hamilton makes him pay.
Kentucky looked like they were trying to get a run out instead of going out and getting the ball. And UCLA has just been quicker to the ball in this game.
Labissiere double team. Murray. Step back three. Rebound Bolden knocked away by Hawkins though. And now Willis going strong to the rim just as he was told to do. And he's got a chance for three.
What a play by Derek Willis. And how about the response? Getting challenged by your coach and then doing that. Alford going to the rim. And then Bolden, it looked like Kentucky was just watching. The guards were headed the other way. And it just got beat to the ball, and it cost him a three.
You know, Willis, a guy who played sporadically last year, didn't play much at all. They were a deeper team last year than they were this year. Had a couple of big games early in the season for Kentucky with 14 and 11 points in the first two games against Albany and then the New Jersey Institute of Technology, but hasn't played as much recently. But with Lee injured and Poitras out, I mean, John Calipari's now relying on guys like Willis and Hawkins, who were really the 11th and 12th men on last year's team.
Hey, brother, if you're the first pick in of the second round of last draft, you played sporadically on the Kentucky team. They had 7 guys in the NBA. 6 of them drafted.
Yeah. 3-point play, Willis. 10-point game again.
But Derek Willis would start on most of Kentucky's opponents' rosters.
Yep. And he's a much bigger factor this year, as is Hawkins.
Well, your point about this particular game, I mean, these guys are having to come in and really do a job because of the injury and foul trouble.
Early a turnover. Briscoe playing with 4. He was afraid that was going to be it for him right there. Hamilton leans in, gets it off. And Hamilton's there to finish it.
Bolden kept it alive. Went right over Briscoe to keep that ball alive so Hamilton could score.
Well, Bolden at 6'10", great length for a guy who can play on the perimeter, can play the 4 spot as well. Gives him a much different look than when they've got Parker and Welsh in there. Ulis no. Alford another rebound. He's done a great job on the glass tonight. And a big screen by Welsh lays out Murray.
Nobody there to call it out. Pretty good catch there by Holiday.
Welsh from the elbow. 2 more. 18 for Thomas Welsh.
Has he missed an open opportunity?
Murray finds Ulis. Kentucky in scramble mode right now. There's a whistle, which you can hardly hear right now, as Holiday is called for the foul.
Well, Thomas Welsh sets a screen in the backcourt. There's no big guy there to call it out. And he just rings the bell of Jamal Murray. And then a nice little move up to the elbow there as Derek Willis tries to stop that drive. He just moves to an open area, and he's such a good shooter. His touch is outstanding.
18 points and 9 rebounds tonight for Welsh. He's 7 for 10 from the floor. He is one of the most improved players I think that we've seen so far this year, from last year to this year.
No question. Sophomore from Redondo Beach, California, went to Loyola High School. He's not a big, strong guy, but he's a terrific pick-and-pop player.
UCLA can't get it in. They'll use a timeout with 5:23 to go. The Bruins trying to beat number 1, up by 12.
Go to ESPN.com/Cheez-It for.
Well, they've hung some banners here. 11 national championships, more than any other program. The last time they beat a number 1 was when they defeated Arizona back in 2003. The last time they did it at home against Kansas in 2002. They got a great shot to beat number 1 right now. What would this mean to Steve Alford and the Bruins to win this game?
Well, it would be a tremendous amount of credibility, but I think it would be credibility for this coaching staff with the players. I think the players really believe in their coaches, but they've made a lot of strides in the last couple weeks. This wasn't this good of a basketball team 2-3 weeks ago, and they have worked really hard. And I think for Steve Alford and his staff to put in this game plan, to so religiously go after it the last few days, and to have the players execute it like this, I think the level of trust goes to an even higher level, and their level of belief. And belief is a really powerful thing. And UCLA, I mean, you know, it's even in the paint, but even for UCLA in the paint with Kentucky is a win.
And again, a lot of new faces on both teams from a year ago, but it bears repeating. Kentucky destroyed UCLA last year. They led 24-0. They were up 41-7 at the half. The game at the United Center in Chicago. Welsh again, 8 for 11, 20 points on the night. They blew out UCLA 83-44. Again, new faces, but what a turnaround here for the Bruins, who really, Jay, have played well and have played hard from the opening moment of the game. Murray with a three.
He's the guy that has to get hot for Kentucky, as Jamal Murray has got big-time ability. Thomas Welsh has had the best game I've ever seen him play. I mean, I know he had 20 points against UNLV. Watch that game, had 9 rebounds. You see off this little pick and roll situation, he draws the defender, Isaac Humphries, does Bryce Alford, and then he's able to get it to Welsh, who's got such a quick release, doesn't even dip that ball, and his touch is absolutely fantastic. But how about the job he's done on the glass, too? He's not a big guy, but contrast that with Scalavizier, who's got 1 rebound. 1 rebound.
Labissiere in his last 2 games has played a total of 30 minutes and has 3 rebounds. 3 rebounds in 30 minutes.
Now, he's a young player, he's a freshman, but this is a young man that a lot of people have talked about being one and done and a top 5 pick. Some have even speculated earlier in his career that he would be the #1 pick. But he's got a long way to go as a player. I think he'll get there. What a great kid.
Ben Simmons guy made another statement for maybe being the #1 overall pick, didn't he?
But he only had 43.
43 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists, and 5 steals last night against North Florida.
He's the real deal. And he's not yet added a consistent jump shot to his game, which I think he will be able to do.
Holiday rejected by Labissiere. He can do that.
He can do a lot of things. He can rebound, too. He's just not doing it.
Murray keeps the dribble alive, finds Willis in the corner, misses the 3. Alford will not get possession. Alford's saying, look at that. You can't look at that. You can't look at it till there's 2 minutes or less left in regulation. He thought it went off Hawkins, but the officials ruling it went off him.
Briscoe has gotten open quite a bit on some of these out-of-bounds situations.
Murray and Ulis are a combined 5 for 22 tonight. Briscoe 6 for 9.
Good job by Wells to cut off that baseline.
Briscoe gets inside again and is fouled. We have a timeout on the floor. UCLA up 11 under 4 minutes to go here at Pauley Pavillion.
And I'll stand it.
More great college basketball action coming your way Saturday. We've got Gonzaga hosting Arizona. Arizona won an overtime game last year down in Tucson. 3:15 Eastern time. A couple of ranked teams at the Kennel. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, and a great game tonight for UCLA so far. A lively house, all kinds of activity, all kinds of celebrities, including 2 of the game's all-time greatest players. On the right, Oscar Robertson. On the left, the logo, Jerry West. They're having a good time. They're yucking it up.
They have been talking since they first got together before this game started. Andy Myers-Drysdale, one of the greatest players in the history of the game, in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. Her brother, a great UCLA champion, David Myers, passed away earlier this year. And I grew up in this area, and David Myers was my idol. Played on that 1975 UCLA National Championship team. John Wooden's last here at UCLA.
They've only won 1 national championship since then. That was in 1995. Ben Howland got him to 3 Final Fours. Steve Alford's gone to the Sweet 16 in his first 2 years. But they're looking to hang another banner. And as you pointed out earlier today, I think in your column, Jay, they only hang national championship banners here. They don't hang conference championships. And they're looking to add to one. It's been a while.
Well, UCLA needs to be strong with the ball here because Kentucky is going to keep going after them. If you're strong with the ball, you can go to the free throw line, knock some free throws down.
Using the clock a little bit.
How good of a game is Holiday?
Look at that. What a move by Bryce Alford.
Well, he has done that before, the fake behind the back pass and the little push shot. That was beautiful.
We told you earlier he's got a lot of shots in his bag, and we've seen a few of them here tonight.
Both Alford and Holiday in the backcourt have had terrific games. Aaron Holiday has really been good.
Only 7 players have played for UCLA tonight as Willis misses the 3. All 7 have played well. Nobody has come in for UCLA and not delivered in some fashion or form tonight.
Well, they've been engaged. They've been intense on both ends of the floor, and they've played together, and they've stuck to the plan.
There's a foul on Willis.
Parker, not a good free throw shooter. They want to put him at the line. Bryce Alford. He's had Isaiah Briscoe on him for a good part of this game, and Murray chases him off that screen. He just froze the defense with that little behind the back move, and Derek Willis trying to get back to Parker, and that opened it up.
That's one you got to practice a lot in your spare time at the end of practice before you bring it out in the game. But he's a very confident young man in the things that he can do. There's Parker at the line.
One of the things that Bryce Alford just knows how to play. And if he were not relied upon to score as much as he is, he'd probably have even more assists, because he's an excellent passer and a very low error rate. His assist turnover ratio is among the best in the country.
Parker makes them both. Doesn't take much to energize this crowd tonight. A rejection. And good patience now, good decision making by Holiday and Alford.
Well, this should send a message, not just to everyone else, but to these UCLA players themselves as to how good they can be. You know, the question you have isn't so much why do you play this well against Kentucky, is why don't you play this well and this hard against everybody else? And that's the next step for this team.
Losses to Monmouth, Kansas, and Wake Forest so far this year. 4-3 unranked, but on the verge of a huge win. Willis for 3, got it. And a timeout taken by John Calipari. After we're done here, stay tuned for Sports Center at Night with John Anderson and John Abuchagras. They'll have highlights and analysis from the night in basketball, a recap of the Packers and the Lions, and a look at all the hockey action as well. Sports Center at Night after we wrap up here at Pauley Pavillion. Did you play in this gym as a high school or college player when you came back home for the summer? Did you play some pickup games here?
Yeah, I played pickup games here and in the men's gym. Absolutely. The games in the men's gym, they didn't smell very good, but they were great games. You always had a bunch of pros here, and you could always find a great game here at UCLA. You know, right now, 11-point lead for UCLA with the ball. You have to run the ball into your hands, catch, be strong, and face the defense before you make play, because Kentucky is looking for steals. Nice move.
Holiday playing with the poise far beyond his freshman status. He's had a good game.
Well, he's rebounded. He's got 7 or 8 rebounds. He's got 7 or 8 assists.
He's a good player.
He's really good. And he's going to keep getting better.
You know, next year the recruiting class is so deep that if nobody leaves early, they'll actually have more than the available number of scholarship spots. So the coach's son, Bryce Alford, will give up his scholarship, will become a walk-on, so that they can accommodate the incoming class. And that's one of the reasons why Steve Alford is excited about the future. He had 7 scholarship players in his first year here 2 years ago. After the season, 5 of them left. 2 of them used up their eligibility. 3 left early for the NBA. So he only had 2 returning scholarship players heading into last season. And they lost 2 very good players last year, Norman Powell and Kevon Looney. But it does feel like the program is getting deeper by the year.
Yeah, they're getting better and better. As a foul.
And Murray is going to shoot 3.
Just a really poor decision on the part of Isaac Hamilton. You know, you don't want to foul, not only to put a really good shooter at the free throw line to get to watch the ball go through the net, but it stops the clock. Stops the clock, and then Kentucky can set up a press. Just a really bad decision by a really good player in Isaac Hamilton.
Does it feel to you like Murray is still kind of finding his way, searching for his role a little bit offensively?
Yeah, he doesn't know where his shots are coming from, and he'll figure it out because he's a smart player, and boy, is he talented. But I think you were the one that first told me that you thought after watching him so much that he operates better with the ball in his hands.
I just had a chance to see him play 5 games in the Pan Am. And Briscoe and Ulis are all the same way, and it's tough for them. They're all used to being the lead guard.
Yeah, well,
and there can only be one at a time right now. For
you
them,
know what?
so.
And it may be absolutely true that that's the best thing for him right now, but he's going to have to figure out doing it another way because the rest of his career, not just at Kentucky, but when he goes on and plays in the NBA, he's not always going to have the ball in his hands. There's some pretty good players up there too.
He makes 2 of 3. He's got 11, and it's an 11-point lead for UCLA. Matthews out, Hawkins back in.
Willis is long-armed. He's going to try to get a deflection, and then he can go double team.
Into Holiday. And Bolden can be such a help for UCLA because of his size, that he can dribble the ball up, make a pass, and he'll be going to the free throw line for 2.
Now Bolden is still trying to knock some rust off of his game. He's long and a good athlete, but he can really stretch the floor. He's a good shooter, and he's primarily operates out on the perimeter around the 3-point line. Most of the shots I watched today on Synergy, every shot he's taken, and he takes a good bit of them from the corners.
UCLA now 19 for 25 from the free throw line. Exactly the same as Kentucky is at the moment.
Just violated too. Isaiah Briscoe just violated. The referee was trying to get him to stop, but they had to call it.
There was nobody even in there for UCLA. There was nobody even in the lane.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. The referee's not. It's not the referee's responsibility to grab the kid and keep him out of it.
And it cost them a point. Ulis finds Murray in the corner, his 4th of the game, and John Calipari is going to use his last timeout. And Calipari saying, my fault, my fault. Whatever he was arguing about there, he got an explanation, and he was okay with it. 1:37 away, UCLA is from knocking off the #1 team of the nation, the 7-0 Kentucky Wildcats. Aerial coverage tonight is being provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned in making tires for game-changing traction inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Let's talk Pac-12 just for a moment. Arizona, Oregon, Utah, UCLA, obviously, others as well. Who do you see up at the top of the conference?
I think the conference is up for grabs. But I do not think it is near as strong as it was at the top last year. Arizona is not quite as good. They've got some injuries. Caleb Tarczewski out for a period of weeks with a stress reaction. So going up to Gonzaga without him there and having to deal with those big guys is going to be very difficult. But California is still trying. They don't have a ton of depth. They're trying to feel their way around. Utah had a really big win over BYU. I think Oregon is a team I would watch out for. Tyler Dorsey, you know that they're going to be athletic and fast, and Dana Altman's a terrific coach. But I don't think there is a clear favorite right now in the Pac-12. But it's going to be very, very competitive.
We'll see Arizona Saturday afternoon up in Spokane at the Kennel as they take on the Zags. Looking forward to that one. Still 1:37 left to go in this one.
And when you watch UCLA play in this game against the #1 team in the country in Kentucky, I mean, I think the Bruins should be asking themselves, why not us?
Boy, Holiday's doing a lot of good things for the Bruins tonight.
Just split that double team, and John Calipari is going to say that was too easy for him to split a Kentucky double team. But Holiday has been good all game long.
Alford's been terrific tonight. Welsh has had, as you said, the best game you've ever seen him play. Parker's been very good tonight.
Really, you can point to every player and say that every player has made a really positive contribution. And they came out and they punched Kentucky from the very beginning. They controlled the paint, made Kentucky into a jump shooting team, and especially in the first half, UCLA did not give up second chance opportunities. They were gang rebounding. Their guards were getting 3-4 rebounds in the first half each.
They're shooting 53% tonight against Kentucky.
Yeah, and I think that's something that John Calipari is going to be talking with his team. Hey, we didn't play well offensively, but let's not forget, we gave up a lot of easy things. The Kentucky defense was not to the standard that John Calipari usually holds his teams.
They haven't given up more than 65 points in a game this year. They've given up 83 tonight. Murray with his 5th 3 of the game. They're breaking the pressure easily.
You can't really wait. You got to put him on the line and play the free throw game.
All 7 players for UCLA tonight, and only 7 have played in the game. All 7 have scored at least 7 points in this game, and they came in as a balanced team with 5 players in double figures.
I mean, Holiday's got 10 points, 8 rebounds. He's been terrific.
Saturday afternoon, as we mentioned, Arizona Gonzaga at 3:15 Eastern Time, followed up by the Jimmy V Women's Classic presented by Corona. Number 3 Notre Dame and number 1 UConn, both games streaming live on Watch ESPN.
And Brianna Stewart of UConn's got to be, by the time she's done, she's got to be the most decorated women's player of all time. What an amazing player.
10-point game. Murray with a high arcing 3, had to adjust the shot. Willis down with a rebound. He'll put up the 3. And Alford with another rebound for the Bruins. Welsh outlets to Holiday. Off to Hamilton. One more foul. Alford's revving up the crowd. They can smell it now.
Well, and his dad, Steve Alford, the head coach, is telling him, hey, get the team together in a huddle. The game's not over yet.
And Steve talked about how Bryce needs to take another step forward and is in the process of doing that as a leader with the loss of Norman Powell, who played here for 4 years.
Well, one thing that Steve Alford told his team in a very loud voice yesterday at practice was be ready for a fight. And UCLA brought the fight to Kentucky from the very opening tap.
The only lead of the night for Kentucky was 2-0. Ulis, a deep one. And Welsh with his 11th rebound of the night to go with 20 points.
When you think that John Calipari is going to be showing his film to his young players, and 11 rebounds for Welsh, 1 or 2 rebounds for Labissiere. Kentucky is going to do a lot of growing from this game. But they had a lot of adversity. Marcus Lee out early, wasn't available. Tyler Ulis injured.
Boyk was fouled out. Willis just fouled out, still getting a talking to.
But what a win for UCLA. This is a program elevating win to beat the #1 team on your home floor in front of a packed house.
Briscoe a 3, still a 10-point game. Shot clock turned off, and it looks like John Calipari's called off the Dogs. This place is about to get loud. For the first time in 12 years, UCLA has knocked off a #1 team. What a win for Steve Alford and the Bruins. 87-77 over the Kentucky Wildcats. And they got contributions from everyone in this game tonight. They hand the Wildcats their first loss of the season. The Bruins go to 5-3 and pick up a win that is going to resonate around the country. We're going to come back with more live coverage from Pauley Pavillion on UCLA's win over #1 Kentucky. But first, let's send it back to the studio. SportsCenter is now.